Recently, I've found myself slipping into the habit of watching a show while playing video games at the same time. This is in line with my other media consumption tendencies, like listening to YouTube videos while cooking, music or podcasts while doing menial tasks. Essentially, I always have some type of media distracting my mind from being in the present. I purposefully cloud my reality so I'm never alone with my own thoughts, and that doesn't even begin to mention the addictive, manipulative schemes that are imbued in every social media platform. I give myself the excuse I don't have time to both watch a movie and play video games, two things I desperately want to take part in and enjoy as much as I can. And I enjoy these things not just for entertainment and to have content for these videos, but to learn as well. Through art, we broaden our understanding of the world around us. We learn difficult life lessons and we are exposed to foreign experiences. Art and media make us more complete people by expanding our knowledge. But the problem is, in consuming so much media during the day, I feel like I'm never completely understanding what I watch or listen to. What are the implications of this? Am I ever really capturing the true meaning behind these works of art? Am I enjoying media to their fullest extent if I'm always multitasking, using them as distractions instead of a way to learn? How has consumption of media changed throughout time, and how does that consumption affect us? Well, the answers to these questions have led me to this conclusion. I hate the overconsumption of media. Media affects us in more ways than I can shake a stick at, and I'm pretty good at shaking sticks. Art holds personal power. A piece of media can affect one's mood, thought patterns, beliefs, and more. As all art is, or at least should be, charged with meaning, one can genuinely learn more about the world and themselves through media. In this way, media can become reflective of one's personality. Typically, we use our favorite artwork to represent ourselves, meaning we are the media we consume. Sadly, this aspect of art has been taken advantage of in the form of propaganda. Because we learn about the world around us through the media we consume, tyrannical leaders have utilized art to manipulate the public's worldview. For example, many totalitarian governments created paintings that presented their respective leaders as gods amongst men, a father of their nation, especially in comparison to others and the public. Hubert Lansinger's piece, The Standard Bearer, depicts Hitler as a white knight, an angel that will save his country from ruin. Similarly, Mao Zedong plastered his face everywhere, both to remind the public of his all-seeing leadership and to humanize him with a calm demeanor and half-smile. Styles ranging from modernist to avant-garde found their role in the manipulation of the public through propaganda. The very act of using art in this way demonstrates how significantly media can affect us. Nowadays, we may point towards biased news stations or political leaders as media that attempt to pass ideologies onto their audience through the mind-bending power inherent with media consumption. Furthermore, this highlights the cultural and social significance of art, as media can act as a snapshot of reality in our current moment. Art has a unique quality of time and place. It is impossible to create a work that is not reflective of the culture it was created in. Pieces of art that not only carry ideologies, life lessons, personalities, and emotions, but the very essence of a space, culture, or demographic at a given time. It can change public opinion or the thought process and beliefs of an individual, influencing our emotions and values. All this to say that, yes, what we consume does affect us. However, the consumption of media to learn doesn't always have to be used in a tyrannical 1984 mind control-esque way. Fictional films contain themes and lessons that are conveyed to the audience, like how Marriage Story gives a depiction of marriage many are not aware of. Then there are films based more on reality like non-fiction documentaries that provide information on essentially any topic. One of my favorites is Hoop Dreams, a documentary that informs the audience about the lack of opportunities available to Black youth. One of my favorite shows, BoJack Horseman, gives a realistic portrayal of mental illness, again providing the audience with an experience they may not be aware of. My favorite books are on philosophy. I just finished Think, and I couldn't have been more enthralled while learning about new concepts. But again, fictional media is just as informative. I recently read A Bright Ray of Darkness, a novel that unveiled a harsh reality of fame that I'm clearly blind to. Then there's video games, which can aid in the development of critical thinking skills and tell stories just as compelling as books and movies. And don't even get me started on paintings, sculptures, music, all of which carry profound effects on the viewer, if not in the way of showing us more about ourselves, then at the very least being informative. So clearly, interacting with art can be beneficial, but what happens when we overconsume media? The advancement of technology has changed the way we interact with art by preventing us from critically engaging with said art. This lack of critical thought when decoding media is best exemplified by the fact that we are always interacting with some form of content nowadays, so much so that we're never given the chance to only focus on one thing at a time. In 2001, the amount of homes with a television was around 100 million, and now that number has jumped to 121 million. The introduction of the smartphone and social media has brought about a drastic increase in the amount of time we spend interacting with media, as we always have instant access to whatever we want to watch, hear or connect with. In 2021, the overall media consumption among US adults is estimated to be the highest it has ever been at around 666 minutes per day, or 11.1 hours. That's a 20.2% increase since 2011, a mere 10 years. And with the right technologies advancing, it would be shocking if that number saw a decline in the upcoming decades. Not only does this increase in technological use potentially promote a decreased attention span and negative effects on one's mental health, but the constant flow of content brings about two big points I find are worth addressing. As stated previously, media and art can clearly affect us, allowing companies, organizations, or people in power to preach their ideologies to the world. Psychologist Noam Spencer explains the dangers of this in the present-day transfer of media quite well, stating, "Why do we consume too much news?" Well, in a nutshell, our attentional system has evolved in a time when threats were real, local, and often unpredictable. In such a system, tending to any potential threat is adaptive, yet our current media technology brings threatening events into our lives from everywhere, non-stop. Our ancient system is misaligned with this new environment. Just as the omnipresence of food compels us into overeating, so the ubiquity of news compels us towards overconsumption. The system he is discussing is based on the signal detection theory, which, quote, concerns our ability to detect signals in a less than perfect, noisy, that is, real-world environment. The attempt to discern signals from noise, i.e. truth from untruth, in such an environment is vulnerable to two types of errors: a false alarm, we detect something that isn't there, or a miss, something is there that we fail to detect. Unquote. In other words, our cognitive system is being constantly overwhelmed with stimuli in the form of media. This can be dangerous as, according to the signal detection theory, our means of telling which media we're decoding is a false alarm, miss, or credible, or in other words, reliable or biased sources, becomes damaged. By consuming mass amounts of media, it becomes easier for them to all gel together, meaning we're more likely to fail at analyzing the media we consume critically. Thus, we tend to simply accept what they are saying without much thought. In this way, the overconsumption of media makes us more susceptible to biased sources, and in a world where every company and person has a position to maintain, this can be a dangerous tool to control the populace. Tragically, it seems like that the increase in media availability has led to many partaking in the same type of multitasking that I was. 1 in 6 of us use social media while also consuming TV, says the CRE. Big events like the Oscars or sports events are frequently co-sponsored with a second screen, tablet-ready site. Every day, more people are joining in on the TV cable cutting trend. This becomes a problem when we realize that humans are actually terrible at multitasking. Studies show that when our brain is constantly switching gears to bounce back and forth between tasks, especially when those tasks are complex and require our active attention, we become less efficient and more likely to make a mistake. In fact, other studies suggest that people who frequently media multitask, like listening to music while checking email or scrolling through social media while watching a movie, are more distracted and less able to focus their attention even when they're performing only one task. Although it may not seem like it, decoding media thoughtfully is very complicated. Sure, idly watching a movie with no critical eye isn't a very complex activity. You just sit, ingest, and leave. But in order to serve the true purpose of art, to learn what the artist has to say via the decoding of their work, to garner new experiences and learn more about oneself, one must be able to concentrate on and decode the art. And decoding requires more than just surface level thought, as many of the qualities of truly breathtaking works are hidden in the nuances. Screenplays have structures that can be tampered with to great lengths in order to make a well-written masterpiece. And movies as a whole are an amalgamation of different media that one has to understand to grasp the complete picture. You don't just get the true greatness of The Godfather by watching it half asleep, or, like me, having your eyes literally focus on a separate screen. The lighting, music, dialogue, story structure, camera work, performances, and so much more are all fantastic on the surface, but masterful in their folds, creating an end product that one can garner themes and learn about filmmaking from. Every piece of art is an opportunity to learn more about the medium it is a part of, to understand new experiences, to learn more about the world around us, and to see how different art affects us. Needless to say that analyzing media, both in an effort to find out why it's so great, or not, and what it's trying to say, aka the most significant part of said media, takes at least some concentration. Concentration I was certainly not applying when watching the newest scenes from a marriage while perfecting my farm in Stardew Valley at the same time. Meaning, not only does overconsumption media come with the potential health consequences of technological overuse we spoke of before, but it muddles our ability to truly connect and understand works of art, whether that be video games, films, paintings, or anything else. Suddenly, the work that is reflective of us as people is able to influence our minds, beliefs, and emotions, can show the audience member experiences one could never dream of going through themselves, and create genuine public change or manipulate the opinions of the masses is reduced to a, I'll have it on in the background. All this to say that we must take time to analyze and reflect on the media we consume in order to 1. determine if we agree with the stance the piece of art is projecting, therefore not letting any unwanted meaning influence our beliefs. 2. To avoid spending too much time on technology and all the negative consequences that potentially comes with it. And 3. Take away all we can from the art, from visual spectacle to thematic meaning, while developing critical thinking skills by analyzing why we enjoyed or didn't enjoy certain aspects of said art. I recommend keeping a resonance journal where you can write down and take notes on any piece of media that resonates with you. I also enjoy taking notes during shows or films that I watch, or using apps like Letterboxd and Music Board to make reviews on the films and music I consume. All that may seem a bit nerdy, but I think anyone can benefit from at least taking a second in between YouTube videos to really think about what they just watched, to go into a film or painting with a critical eye, to play a game with a focus on mechanics and story, to read with purpose and intent, essentially to consume media mindfully and thoughtfully. Thank you for watching. Now get off your phone and go outside once in a while.